Welcome back. We continue to monitor the March for Israel rally that has very peacefully taken over our nation's capital. We're now joined by human rights lawyer and founder of the Lawfare Project, Brooke Goldstein, who was at the rally. We understand that you were there earlier this afternoon, Brooke. Tell us not just what you saw, but what you felt.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for pointing out that it was a peaceful rally, because that is the point. 200,000 people gathered, and it felt amazing. It was a gathering of unity. It was a gathering of Jewish empowerment and strength to show the world that we are not a threat, but we are here to demand that our civil rights be enforced and protected. And we will not stand for this country, the great country, the United States of America, turning into a place that is not safe for Jews. I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. And when we say never again, we mean it. And I have full faith and confidence in the American people, as well as our electeds. And a lot of electeds were there today from across the aisle, leaders from the House and the Senate, showing their support for the state of Israel. Why? Because the state of Israel is on the front lines of the war against theologically motivated terrorism, which is a threat to all Western democracies.
Brooke, you said the word strength. I want to continue on that note. Was there any speaker there today that maybe showed you strength, put off strength, and really got the crowd fired up and thinking that, yeah, you know, this is the way, you know, we should be talking about the war that's going on right now?
So actually, there were two speakers that I found very inspiring. One was the sister of a young man who is currently being held hostage. And she went up on the podium and she spoke from a place of happiness and peace, and how she was able to do that, how she was able to muster the strength, knowing that her brother right now is being held by a terrorist group that burns babies alive in ovens. God knows what they're doing right now to our hostages. I was incredibly inspired. And then I think the second speaker, who was very significant, who was also a man that I had the opportunity to interview for my book, End Jew Hatred, A Manual for Mobilization, is Natan Sharansky. Now, Sharansky was one of the leaders of the Soviet Jewry movement, which was a very successful movement that mobilized the Jewish community and our allies. Hundreds of thousands of people poured out on the street to demand freedom for the Jewish people at that time in the Soviet Union. And the reason why I think his presence was so significant, because now we are seeing once again Jews mobilize and use the techniques and the tools and the strategies and the messaging that every other minority group has done in America, from the Black civil rights movement to the Black Lives Matter movement, to the New Women's movement, the LGBTQI+ movement. No matter what you think of these movements, they have successfully mobilized, and yet the Jewish community is now stepping into its power. And that's why I am so proud to help run the End Jew Hatred movement, which is the largest Jewish civil rights movement in North America. And the question is, what are we doing right now, the day after the rally? What do we do tomorrow to continue the momentum? And our activists are out on the street rallying every day for Jewish safety and Jewish civil rights.
Well, Brooke, we certainly appreciate the work you're doing for attending that protest. Don't want to call it a protest, but a march, a peaceful march, and everybody in unity there in D.C. for a great cause there. So, Brooke, we appreciate you, and keep it up, okay?
Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, switching gears here. You may have heard